wisdom is the knowledge that cannot be transmitted, which is like you can only know the thing after you've experienced the thing. It's one thing for me to tell you as you're going through your first breakup and it feels like your life is ending. It's like, listen, it's going to be okay. You're going to get through this. Time is going to heal all wounds. And you'll go through that and you hear it, but it won't mean anything to you until you've lived through it and you've been on the back end of it and you're like, oh, life did go on. Right? In the same way that there's certain things, certain lessons that you can tell somebody, but it's like there's certain lessons that people just have to learn for themselves the hard way. They have to put their hand on the fire. It's one thing for me to tell you, don't put your hand on the fire. It's going to burn you, but that's intellectual knowledge, right? It's only after you've actually burned yourself and you've experienced the pain of the thing that you go, oh, now I understand it. So it's like, there's a bit of wisdom is that which cannot be transmitted. It has to be learned on its own, or you have to be experienced on its own. I can tell you everything that you should do. And this is the problem with advice in general is like in coaching, right? I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs now, where it's like, listen, here's what you got to do. You have to have the hard conversation. You have to let that person go tomorrow, as soon as possible. The sooner you do it, the better. And they'll wait. They'll wait 6 months. They'll wait 9 months. And eventually the situation will get so bad that they'll just go, I'm going to do it today. And they finally let the person go. And almost overnight, they realize this huge weight has been lifted off of their shoulders. The business starts to do better. The culture is thriving. It's like, why? And they'll say this, like, I wish I had done this sooner. And it's like, yeah, I'm sitting here telling you that. But it's one of those lessons, like wisdom is, that bit of knowledge that can't be transmitted. So you have to experience it for yourself. Like there's some lessons that you can't be taught. You just have to experience. And that's going to be the best teacher. And so, but what can help is, hearing, hey, this is what the thing is that you have to do, can help shorten the gap to when you actually do take the action. So there's value in having like the theoretical academic book knowledge associated with like, oh yeah, time does heal all wounds. Oh, I should probably go distract myself for 6 months and I'll come back and everything will be better and I won't be so sad all the time. Or, oh yeah, I know intellectually I should let this person go. It increases your rate of learning for the next time so that you don't wait 6 months, ideally. Like, and again, like we talked about, like that a lot of life is just pattern recognition. The reason old people are wiser or smarter or more experienced, or why they have more resources than young people, one is that they've had more time to accumulate those things. But like the most valuable resource of all isn't the money that they've acquired or the assets in that sense. It's the patterns that they've accrued. They've seen the patterns play out over and over and over again. Oh, when I go through a breakup, it hurts like this and it gets better. And so the next time it shortens the timeline. Or, hey, when somebody behaves in this way, it usually means that they're not super trustworthy. So I'm just not going to do business with them. Like red flags never go down. So I've learned that lesson before. I'm not going to do that again. So they've collected more patterns or mental models to see the world through. And so then that allows them to recognize more quickly in the moment what's actually happening. Because I think most successful people, or successful entrepreneurs in particular, are the ones that can like recognize reality most clearly and then respond to that reality in the quickest way possible. So not just living in a delusion that you create for yourself and be like, oh, everything's good, or this is working XYZ well, but actually looking at it and objectively saying, oh, actually it's not working. But being able to have that realization and then to take action to fix it and to know what those actions are. That's why old people are so wise. It's because they just lived through so much of that. And so then the question is, okay, how can we accelerate the learning? How can we become wiser? How can we experience those? How can we acquire that knowledge that can't be transmitted, right? And so that's, you go do a lot of stuff. Like that's my number one recommendation to young people before they even like try to start a business, or as they're starting a business, is just try and start a bunch of businesses. Try and start a bunch of stuff. Like go live an adventurous life, experience a bunch of stuff, put your hands in different fires, go meet different cultures and talk to different people, and like expose yourself to as many patterns as possible. That should be your job when you're young, is to just like rapid pattern exposure. From there, now you have like scaffolding that you can build upon, and then you start looking at, okay, how do I acquire more patterns beyond just the patterns I can acquire in my own lifetime? Because you have 24 hours in a day, you can only go out and experience so much. So how can you fast track that so I can get the benefit of your patterns that you've acquired? And that's read books that you put out, watch videos that you put out, where it's like you're sharing like somebody listening to this right now, I'm sharing my pattern. I'm telling you that like pattern acquisition is like a superpower. And so you're going to get to benefit from that. And now you're going to be able to go forward and be like, I need to do more pattern acquisition. So you can read books, you can listen to videos like this, you can join communities and get exposure to other people, and learn from them. You can get a coach, a mentor, and that's a great way because they can overlay their years of pattern acquisition on top of your situation to point out the things that you can't even see yet, because you're still so in it that you can't see beyond the next point and how that is actually a pattern that you've repeated in your past before. So like those are, I think that's the game. You want to increase your rate of learning as quickly as possible, your rate of execution, but you don't want to execute blindly. You want to execute against the activities that's most likely to lead you to success. And that's, again, a pattern. Like history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And there's certain things that if you do this in this order, in this way, at this time, has a higher probability of working out and being successful than if you didn't do that thing, or if you did it in a slightly different way. And the only way to know that is to either do it or have somebody else be like, hey, I've done that and it didn't work. Like, here's what you want to do instead. But yeah, I don't know how we got on this topic, but pattern acquisition, super skill.